It's your girl, Hope, your TV movie bestie, and I'm back with episode 11 of season 8 of The Neighborhood. Now, this episode was really cute because Daphne was on there, who is Marty and Courtney's daughter, and it was about baby-proofing the house. So, Tina and Calvin are watching Daphne for the weekend while Courtney is out with her friends and Marty's at a conference. And at first, Marty's like, no, y'all gotta watch her at the house because our house is baby proof, y'all's house is not. So they're like, no, we'll baby proof the house. So they hire someone to come out and do a whole baby proofing session. And this guy, of course, charges some insane price. And so Calvin's like, no, that's okay. I do it myself. So Tina and Gemma, they go to a sip and paint, and Dave and Calvin, they stay home to baby proof the house. So everything's going great until they get to the master bathroom. And then they get locked in the bathroom because they're doing something with the locks, baby-proofing the locks, and then the handles fall off, so the doorknob. So it falls off on both sides. So they get locked in the bathroom, and Dave's like, where's Daphne? And Calvin's like, oh, don't worry, she's asleep in her crib. Girlfriend is up. They hear her just laughing and giggling. And Calvin's like, oh, don't worry, well, she's in her crib and she can't get out. Girlfriend is moving. She is out that crib. She done climbed out and she's just running amok around the house. So they're like, oh my gosh, we have to get to her. So Calvin is like, come over here, Daphne. And they try to get her to slide them the phone through the door because Calvin left his phone in the bedroom and Dave left his phone downstairs charging. So they try to get her to give them the phone, but she playing, she having a good time. She in Tina's wigs cutting up. And I died laughing. She had Tina's good wig, which they named Sandra after Jackée Harry's character on 227, which I loved growing up as a kid, starring Marla Gibbs, who is a legend, and also a young Regina King, if y'all didn't know that. But anyway, that was a great show. So she having a good time. She playing in the wig. She eating snacks. She running amok. And they just like, we have got to get her out of here. So finally, Calvin is like, oh, we should play the Shapey game. So they have a game where they, it's a game we had as a kid where you put the circle in the circle hole, the triangle in the triangle thing. So he's like, all right, Daphne, they have a little song and he's singing and he's like, Daphne, put the circle in the circle. And so she takes the doorknob and she puts it in and they're able to get out. Now, baby girl has done tore up this house. As soon as they get off, she takes off running and the house is in shambles. And so they're like, dang, how long she was out here? So anyways, they looking for her and Calvin is like, we got to hurry up because Marty's on his way home. Marty show up and he's like, hey, y'all, I'm back early. And he said, I decided not to stay overnight. And he said, where my baby at? And so they like, and Dave is like, we don't know. And Calvin's like, we don't know because we playing hide and seek. And so Marty's like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, don't worry about it. He's like, Daddy, I'm the king of hide and seek. And so he's looking, so he finds her. And so Calvin and Dave are like, whew, she's safe. And Marty's like, what's really going on here? And so Calvin is like, yeah, we got locked upstairs in the bathroom while we was baby proofing the house and Daphne kind of ran amok and then we lost her. And he's like, what? So he said, don't worry, we found her, she's safe, and don't tell your mama. And so Marty's like, all right, but what about the wall? Daphne done colored all over the wall. And Calvin's just like, damn. So anyways, Marty leaves. So now I'm gonna go back to Gemma and Tina. So they're at this sip and paint. So they having a good time. Tina thinks she's hot shit. She's like, Gemma, don't worry if your artwork isn't up to par. I've been here before. I've done this. And so Gemma like, it's cool. I'm just having a good time. So Gemma just painting. And she must be getting drunk because she starts dipping her paintbrush in her wine and drinking that. And she's like, this tastes funny. And Tina's like, yeah, because you're dipping your paintbrush in the wine. So anyways, they draw their paintings, they put them up. And the teacher is like, oh, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. And she's like, really, Harlem Renaissance. And it's really captured the Black experience. It's this lady in a dress. And so she goes, oh, I love it. And so Tina's like, I know, I'm so good. And so she goes over and she gets her painting. And the lady was like, oh, no, not that one. This one, which happens to be Gemma's. And Gemma's like, what? You like mine? I did good. And she's like, yeah, this is lovely. And so, Gemma's like, thanks. And so Tina like, girl, she been eating paint this whole time. And so the teacher's like, well, yours is good too, Tina. And so anyways, they get on home and, Gemma's still on a little high because she did a good job. So when Calvin and Dave see the artwork, they're like, oh yeah, this is nice. So of course, Calvin starts looking at Gemma's, not knowing it's Gemma's. And he's like, babe, this is good. You did your big one with this. And she's like, shut up. And so Gemma's like, that's mine, Calvin. And he said, what? Oh, good job, Gemma. So he goes over, he looks at Tina's and he said, you know what, babe? I like this one better. And he's like, I thought Gemma was good, but that was because I ain't see yours. You did good, babe. And she's like, shut up, I'm going to bed. So she starts to go in her room. Y'all, she see that wig. Now, Black women, we do not play about our wigs. And so she get her wig and she's like, what happened to Sandra? And so Calvin is like, Dave, were you in there playing with Tina's wig? And he's like, say yes, say yes. And so Dave goes, yep, I was. And she's like, and why has it got wet Cheerios in it? And Dave was like, that was me too. My bad, Tina. We gonna get on up out of here. And so Jim was like, Dave, what you been doing? He's like, don't worry about it. So they get on out and then Tina, she getting ready to go and she sees the wall with all the crayon that Daphne done did. And she's like, Calvin, what the hell happened right here? And he's like, Tina, Dave, like, I don't know what's wrong with it. So she's like, Dave. And so the episode goes off. But very cute episode. I love this show. No updates on the Marty and Courtney wedding, and no updates on Mercedes and Malcolm them dating. So hopefully we'll see that in the next episodes. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye, besties.